Are you ready to go to level 2 with your commuting e-bikes? Well, Aventon has stepped up their game and they upgraded their level 1, which is their #1 selling e-bike, and made the level 2. Now the level 2 has so many major upgrades on it that the big bike brands are never gonna be able to meet this price point. At $17.99, I'm not even sure how Aventon was able to do it themselves. Let's go ahead and let's dive into all these details. But first, if you guys are interested in buying any Aventon bike, I would greatly appreciate it if you used my links below, as those links are affiliated and they do help out this channel. Now first up, let's go ahead and check out the cockpit on this level 2. The first thing that I noticed were these dual lock-on grips, and I absolutely love dual lock-on grips. You know that these things are gonna be comfortable and secure the entire time that you're riding the bike. And then if you look next to the grip, you're gonna notice an 8-speed Shimano shifter. It's not only a Shimano shifter, it's a full drivetrain, all the way down to the cassette and the rear derailleur. So you're gonna get super high quality parts that can be easily maintained, but also offer super crisp shifting even on the toughest terrain. Now to go along with that name brand drivetrain, they even did some name brand hydraulic disc brakes. They threw on some Tektro branded brakes, and these things can stop you in any conditions. Now I've used Tektro brakes across a lot of my bikes, and I've got to say, they are one of the best budget-friendly brakes that you can actually find. Now these Tektro brakes come equipped with 180mm rotors, and they also have really easily replaceable pads that you can find at any local bike shop. And last but not least on the cockpit is the control system. You're gonna get a super nice control pad that's gonna allow you to turn the bike on, change the PAS level, and then also turn on the headlight. Not only that, next to the control panel, you're gonna get this really nice high quality throttle. This thing has a really nice spring rate and feels really good whenever you go to use it. And one of the biggest upgrades that they've done on this bike is this amazing Aventon color display. This display is full color, has a nice matte screen, so you don't have to worry about any glare issues whenever you're out in full sun. This is the first e-bike that I've had with a full color display, and I've got to say, I don't know if I want to go back. Having this color display is really nice. It makes this bike feel even more premium than it already is. One of the nice things about this color display is it has an app integration. That's right, Aventon is one of the only budget-minded bike companies out there that are actually supplying you an app to control all the features within your computer. This will allow you to change some of the computer settings to dial in this bike to fit your riding style. Not only that, you can actually find other Aventon bike owners within your area. That way you can meet up and do some group rides. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about the workhorse side of the level 2. This comes with a 500 watt sustained motor that can peak out at 750 watts. I haven't found a single hill that this thing has any issue with. And I've taken it up some super steep hills like 19% grade, and it made it to the top with absolutely no issue. At the bottom of that big hill that I like to take my e-bikes on, gets up to about 19% grade. We'll start out at a 1 or 2%, get to 12, and then it'll quickly get to about 15 to 16. Once I hit the driveway that's up here, you guys will see that it gets incredibly steep. Sometimes the camera doesn't actually pick that up, but it is about 19% grade past this driveway to the very top. So we're gonna see how this performs, and it'll be real interesting because this is with a torque sensor. I always put these on level 5, so PAS 5, and then we're just gonna basically try to get up this hill as quickly and as efficiently as possible without, wearing ourselves out. So I want the bike to do pretty much all the work. Now I am gonna be pedaling because I just don't think most people are gonna be pushing these bikes up a hill with this throttle. So we're gonna actually give it some pedal assist, which is gonna give it the maximum power. So let's go ahead and let's see how this does. All right, PAS 5 really does kick off really quickly. Does a really good job of getting you up to speed whenever you start applying power down on the pedals. So we're gonna get going here. We're about 20 miles an hour at the peak, and this is about 12%. We're holding about 18, 19 miles an hour. This feels really good. I haven't had to shift. I am in 6th gear. So we're about to the 15% grade, almost to the 19. Here comes this driveway. This is doing pretty good, 16 miles an hour. I'm gonna downshift to 5th gear, 4th gear. The bike is really working. 11 miles an hour at the 19% grade. And honestly, I'm really not putting a lot of power down. Almost 12 miles an hour. About made it to the top. And there we go, made it to the top. This bike does so good at climbing hills. For a 500 watt motor, I would say it's probably the best 500 watt hill climber that I've ever been on. Now this comes with a 14 amp hour integrated battery in the down tube, and I really appreciate that size of battery because that's gonna give you enough juice to be able to go long distances, but also keep the bike relatively light. Now one of the biggest upgrades to this bike is a torque sensor. That's right, this bike doesn't have a standard cadence sensor. It has a torque sensor, which is really rare in a bike of this price point. Now the differences between a cadence sensor and a torque sensor, the cadence sensor only detects motion of the pedals moving. It doesn't actually detect anything else. So the motor is either on or off. And sometimes that can give you kind of a jerky feeling whenever you go to accelerate. With the torque sensor, it's actually taking in the amount of pressure that you're putting on the pedals. So if you want to go real easy, you just lightly apply pressure to the pedals while you're spinning, and it'll easily and gradually increase your speed. But if you want to go all out and hit those top speeds and you put a lot of pressure in, that motor's going to kick in with full power. Now, one of the big advantages that I found, other than it feels more bike-like whenever you're riding with a torque sensor, is that it helps conserve battery life. Being that it's not on and off, it's just a gradual, depending on how you're pedaling. If you're just going out for a nice, easy ride, you can get a lot more battery life out of a bike with a torque sensor than you could with a cadence sensor. Now let's talk about comfort. One of the things on this bike is it does have a really nice commuter style front fork on it. This is a Zoom branded front fork, and it does have suspension on it. And I found that this soaks up a lot of the bumps in the roads. Now this bike is mainly designed for roads and paved paths, but with this Zoom fork, I think you could take it off onto some gravel roads and be just fine. Now another really cool feature about this Zoom fork is that this does come with a through axle. Instead of a standard quick release, this bike is gonna have a rock solid through axle that's gonna make this bike feel a little bit more responsive in the front end. Not only that, Aventon included a Novatech front hub. This is a really big upgrade. I haven't ever seen this on any of the other e-bikes that I've reviewed, and I've got to say, this little detail a lot of people may not notice, but I really do appreciate the quality of a Novatech hub. And to add to that comfort, this bike has one of the most comfortable commuting seats that I've ever had. I really do appreciate these nice comfy seats because as with these commuting style e-bikes, you do sit most of the time. There's not a lot of standing like you would be doing with mountain biking or road biking. Now when it comes to charging this bike, it's going to be a lot faster than most of your standard e-bikes out there. This one comes with a 3 amp charger instead of a standard 2 amp charger. So you're gonna be able to charge this bike in somewhere around 4 to 6 hours from a completely empty battery. And also another nice feature that is pretty standard across most e-bikes is a removable battery. That means you can charge the battery on the bike or off the bike. Now, one little small detail that Aventon did add to their battery lock system is this really bright key. One thing about this is if you drop this in the grass or on the ground, you're gonna be able to find it really quick. Most bike keys just have a black piece of plastic up top that as soon as you drop them, you're searching all over for them. But not with the Aventon keys because they are super bright and easy to see. Now looking at the tires and the rims, I really do appreciate these Kenda Quick 7 tires. They have this really cool feature on the outside of them that is like a giant reflector all the way around your wheel. This is a huge safety feature that I love to see on my commuting bikes. Now I do have to say, I'm surprised I did get a puncture with one of these tires already. I was expecting these to be a little bit more puncture resistant, so you may want to buy some inserts for your tires if you're gonna be doing a lot of long distance commuting out on some back roads. I always highly recommend bringing a patch kit and all the necessary tools that you need to repair a flat just in case, no matter how well protected the tires are. I'll put some links below for the repair kit and the tools that I carry with me all the time. That way you guys can pick these up whenever you pick up your level 2 bike. Now Aventon really focused on giving you some of those really important commuting style features that I really appreciate on some bikes. The first one is going to be some metal fenders. I really appreciate high quality fenders on a bike because whenever you're commuting somewhere, you don't want water splashing up on you. And with these high quality fenders that they put on there, you have no worries about that whatsoever. And then whenever you do get to your place or you're commuting somewhere, you're definitely gonna wanna have a place to put a bag. And I personally commute with pannier bags, so a built-in rear rack is really important. And this one is super heavy duty. It can hold up to 55 pounds. Now the last feature that is super important anytime you do any commuting is safety, and that's with headlights and taillights. Now this bike comes equipped with a nice little headlight, but more importantly, it comes with these awesome taillights. There's gonna be 2 taillights that are integrated into the frame on the seat stays. These look really slick, and personally, I think they're the best looking integrated rear taillights I've ever seen. And Aventon even thought ahead, because if you have pannier bags, those rear taillights are hard to see, so they put a rear taillight on the rear fender. And having a light all the way back on the very back of the rear fender means that no matter what style of bag you have, you're never gonna block that light. And these rear taillights are integrated with the brakes, so whenever you squeeze the brake levers, whether it's daytime or nighttime, these things are gonna start flashing, letting the traffic know behind you that you're getting ready to stop. Now the Level 2 comes in 2 different styles. This is one of the big things with Aventon bikes. They come in different styles, different sizes, and different colors. Most e-bike manufacturers only offer 1, maybe with a couple of colors. But with the Level 2, you're gonna be looking at a step over or a step through. And then each one of those styles comes with 2 different colors to pick from. And not only that, you can choose between 2 different sizes to fit you perfectly. I personally went with the step over. This is a size large frame, and I got it in this awesome glacier blue color. Now, one of the big things about Aventon is that it is sold in over 1,000 stores inside the United States. That is bigger than most major brands out there. It's gonna come with a 2-year warranty, free shipping, and a 14-day return policy. Now, just a little bit about Aventon. Like I said, they do sell in over 1,000 stores in the United States, but they've been around since 2013, and they started their e-bike adventure right around 2018. And since then, they haven't looked back, and they're just plugging forward. They actually expanded their e-bike line in 2022 and plan to do so in 2023. Now this Level 2, since I have owned it for a few weeks, I have already taken this bike on over 100 miles of riding. And I've got to say, by far, this is the best commuting e-bike that I've reviewed so far. And I would say that this competes with some of the big brands out there like Trek and Specialized. And at that price of $17.99, I don't think you're gonna be able to find a better bike in this category. Now, a couple of riding experiences that I had on this bike that actually kind of blew me away was one ride that I did with my wife. We went out 11 miles. We rode on pedal assist level 1, and we were averaging about 14 to 15 miles an hour. And at the end of that 11-mile ride, I had only used 5% of the battery. I give a lot of that credit to the torque sensor, knowing that I didn't need full power the entire time that I was pedaling. Now, on the complete other end of the spectrum, when it comes to riding style, I bumped it up to pedal assist level 5, hit that 28-mile-an-hour max speed, rode it for 18 miles on my way to work, got to work and had 37% battery life left. I have not seen a single e-bike, even ones with 20 amp hour batteries, give that good of performance on the way to work. Most of the bikes that I've ridden have been well below 20% or completely empty. This 14 amp hour battery with the 500 watt motor and that torque sensor is really tuned in perfectly, so you're gonna be able to get maximum distance with that 14 amp hour battery. So I've gotta say, if you're in the market for a premium style commuting e-bike or any of the other e-bikes that Aventon offers, definitely go check them out. I've got some links below. I would appreciate it if you guys use those links, as that does come back and help out this channel. And with that said, I do highly recommend the Level 2. It is a premium quality bike at a very nice budget price. If you guys like this video, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, let me know if you've ever tried an Aventon bike. And if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And as always, we'll see you guys in the next one.